Am I the a-hole for cutting off my ex-wife's kids I raised for 9 years when I found out they had been lying to me? I, 41 male, was married to my ex-wife, 38 female, for 2 years before we split up. She has 5 kids that I had been helping her raise for almost 9 years, as we had an on and off relationship before we got married. The kids are 22 female, 19 male, 17 male, 11 male, and 9 female. I have always had a great relationship with all the kids and treated them like my own. Their dads weren't really in the picture, and I was the man that stepped up to be there for them all. My ex and I would still spend time together and see each other after our initial split, as we were trying to work things out. During this time, she would date other men and have them in the home with the kids. I worked out of state and would talk to her and the kids regularly like a husband and father would, and would spend my days off with them all. Well, the line came into play when I found out on accident that the dad of 3 of the kids had gotten out of jail and was spending time with my wife and kids behind my back because no one wanted me to find out because he told them not to tell me. I was then informed that they had been covering for their mom's indiscretions the whole time I've known them. Full specifics: as I would come down from my work on my time off, the kids would all hide whatever man their mom was seeing at a time and tell the little ones to not say anything to me. That if I had found out what they were doing, I would have stopped paying all the bills and taking care of all of them. When I was told all of these things, I realized that I was just an ATM, and them and their mom never really cared about me. So I cut all contact with the entire family. I decided my feelings and my mental health was more important than constantly caring for people that don't care about me or how I felt about what was being done to me. So am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole at all. You were a stand-up guy to them, and they treated you poorly. End of story. Good luck to you. Not the a-hole or the ATM. Let's give them props for the teamwork though. Awful, but impressive they made it that long without spilling the beans. Even the kids betrayed you. Damn, son, that's rough. I'm sorry you went through that. Not the a-hole. A grifter raising little grifters. Glad you're out, Opie. Unfortunately, the only not the a-hole ones here are the 2 youngest, who have only known Opie as a father. You cannot blame young kids for doing what their mother tells them. The mom is horrible in so many levels. According to Opie, it has been going for 9 years, meaning even the oldest were young kids when dealing with us. None of the kids, from the youngest to the oldest, should be looked at fault here. The mother should. Those kids knew exactly what would happen and tried their best to keep the family together the best way they know how. And this isn't even getting into what the mom may have told them to do. Add now confusing emotions of a deadbeat dad now popping up in the picture. They're just as much victims. Not the a-hole. Dating a single mom is fine. Dating a single mom with 5 kids from different fathers, at least one of which is in jail, might not be the best idea. Mom seemingly has a lifelong history of poor choices, it sounds like, having a kid at 16. I'd assume the 3 oldest are with a man in jail, and the 2 youngest are with a different man? Manipulating her kids into lying for her to cover for her affairs? They were together 9 years, but she has a 9-year-old with someone else? The whole situation is one messy red flag. The only sane decision in this whole crap show was him leaving this chaotic mess. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling people why my girlfriend and I broke up? My ex and I had been dating for over 2 years when she cheated on me at a Halloween party. She called me a few days afterwards to tell me she cheated. She claimed she felt bad about it as to why she was telling me, and claimed she felt like our relationship was over as to why she let it happen. I was super busy with work trying to make enough to get a place for both of us. I broke up with her and hung up. Then I updated my Facebook to say I was single again, and a couple of my friends asked me why on the update. I responded with, she cheated on me at a party. Well, roughly 7 hours later, my ex's friends and sister are blowing up my Facebook and phone, threatening me and calling me an a-hole for bringing strangers into our business. To which I feel that if she didn't want other people knowing she cheated on me, maybe she shouldn't have freaking cheated on me. So I guess am I the a-hole for being honest to people about why I broke up with that girl, or should I have just acted like it was mutual? Not the a-hole. This has the vibe of, if you don't want people to know you are an a-hole, then don't be an a-hole. She made her bed. Let her lay in it. I know you are probably hurt right now, Opie. Know that with time it will heal the wounds she has caused you. I wish you positive vibes. Thank you. This happened a couple years ago, but it took me a long while to get my head right again over it and start dating again. I am curious, what was the aftermath and the reason the friends inserted themselves when it wasn't their business either? The aftermath I gather from snooping a bit shortly after the split, and what a mutual friend of ours told me, that guy thought she was single, that her deadbeat, neglectful boyfriend who didn't even want her had dumped her the week of Halloween, because that's what she told him. He apparently stalked my profile about a week after the party and saw my post and ghosted my ex after that for lying to him. This is of course third-hand info. The guy never contacted me himself, so who knows how true it all is. But I trust the base info. She wanted to date the guy. The guy found out she was a cheater and ghosted her. She complained to friends and friends blew my phone up. Not the a-hole. Your ex-girlfriend cheated, and then she called you to tell you. I honestly feel it's because she wanted you to break up with her. Well, she got what she wanted, as well as everyone finding out about her actions. It's none of the friends' business, because I doubt if their significant other cheated on them, they would hold back. 100% this. Her friend/sibling don't like that the truth drags her name through the mud. Too bad. As a person who was cheated on and dumped when I was starting to catch on, then had that person defended to me when I brought up what happened, screw him. Don't want to have your reputation tarnished by having your cheating be made public by people asking? Don't cheat. Not the a-hole. I am always 100% in favor of social consequences for unfaithful partners. Should I have just acted like it was mutual? Heck no, because it wasn't. She cheated. Feel free to fly one of those airplane banners over the city if you so wish. My girlfriend cheated! Lots of exclamation points just for fun. My ex-wife told me she needed a break. I was distraught. I was apologizing for 2 weeks saying how I wanted to work it out. She stayed at her parents', and we talked a lot that week. Come to find out, she was telling her parents she was staying with me to talk while going to this guy's house and then agreeing to go to couples therapy with me. This came out, and I flipped. Told everyone. She was only ever mad I didn't keep our relationship between us. Screw that. You mean between me, you, and the guy you were banging while I was a mess for 2 weeks trying to salvage it? Next story. Am I the a-hole for disowning my eldest daughter for going after my youngest daughter's boyfriend? I'm at a loss here. I have 2 daughters, 28-year-old Madison and 23-year-old Naomi. Madison has always been a problematic child for things outside of her control. As a young girl, she's always been what people call a pick-me girl, needing to be the center of attention constantly and trying to one-up people in any way she possibly can. This started happening around age 8. She was in extensive therapy for years, and ultimately it was chalked up to abandonment issues and seeking male validation due to her father essentially wanting nothing to do with her after years of being a daddy's girl. She did come down in her teen years though, and we thought maybe therapy, both personal and family, was finally helping. She started dating a real nice guy, Tommy, around 5 years ago, but they split up back in December because he wasn't ready for marriage and she was. It destroyed her mentally though, and she started to spiral back into her old ways. Now, Naomi started dating Heath a bit over a year ago, and they started talking about marriage and babies around the same time Madison and Tommy split up. I didn't notice the signs originally, but back a month and a half ago, it became really obvious that Madison had her eyes on Naomi's boyfriend. Like whenever we would invite her for family dinners, she would ask if he was going to be there, and come dressed to the max in flashy revealing clothes and flirt excessively. At this point, I told her she needed to tone it down and suggested she gets back into therapy. She informed me that she didn't mean it and that she was just finding herself again after a bad breakup, and insisted that she had no interest in Heath. We just all took her for her word. But Naomi called me in hysterics 3 nights ago and asking to come back home. We open our doors, obviously. That's when she tells us that Madison and Heath started an affair, and that Madison had been messaging Heath constantly for 2 months or so, and that she saw all the messages. I calm Naomi down, and when she gets to bed, finally, I call Madison and ask her about it. She confirms and says, "It's not like I meant for this to happen. We just clicked, and I'm so happy with him. It sucks because I did hurt people in the process, but I feel I deserve some empathy here too." I was shocked. I told her she was no longer a part of this family, and that she made her bed and now she will have to lay in it. Other family members are telling me I'm a bit too harsh, knowing Madison's history with mental issues, but I can't even look at her the same. I'm disgusted by her. Not the a-hole. She clearly did mean it and wanted it to happen based on her activities up to that point. I am sorry this happened to you and your younger daughter, but you made a tough choice to stand up for her. Yep. How do you accidentally have an affair? Are you saying you never tripped down a flight of stairs, and also someone else also tripped down those same stairs, and as you're rolling down said stairs, you end up in an accident sex? It's not like I meant for this to happen. Yeah, it was. She deliberately went after him because her relationship failed and her sister's was blooming. And so she got angry and went to steal her happiness. She doesn't care about you or her sister. She's the only thing that matters in her life. Honestly, she's probably not upset you disowned her, but likes the attention of playing victim. Tell other family members that they can believe what they want, but how would they feel if she had decided to target their partner just because she couldn't stand to see someone else happy while she wasn't? This, plus at 28 she's plenty old enough to know better. If she was 15, I'd sit her down to explain things. But she's 28, old enough to know you don't sabotage her sister's relationship or sleep with her boyfriend because her own boyfriend dumped you. This is an important lesson she needs to learn, and if you let it slip, she will remain an a-hole. And Heath will learn his own lesson over the next 2 to 6 months when he realizes what is given up in order to fool around with a mentally unstable narcissist. Like, there's a very short list of the worst people to have your affair with. Your partner's parents, your partner's kids, your partner's siblings, your partner's exes, anyone in a relationship with any of those people. That's it. Roughly 10 to 50 people out of your entire town, /cities, /states, /whatever. Do not touch them. Because not only are you far more likely to get found out, but even if your partner might forgive you for cheating with a stranger, they will never forgive you for cheating with those people. Not the a-hole. And applause to you for taking a stand and supporting the daughter who did nothing wrong. Too many parents say, well, I don't want to pick sides. I love you equally, which only punishes the victim and enables the wrongdoer. I know your youngest really appreciates you having her back. Last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my mom she should learn how to keep her legs closed? So I, 15 female, and my mom, 37 female, have never really had a great relationship. We have the same attitude, so us together doesn't really work out. Also, she's always getting herself into toxic relationships, which ends up affecting me and my sisters, 19 female and 9 female. A few months ago, my mom started seeing this guy Fred, 45 male. At first, he seemed like a great guy, taking my mom out, buying her flowers, chocolates, etc. I liked him. He was nice. Then 2 months ago, I found a paper in our kitchen counter. I'm not really sure what they're called, but it was basically stating that my mom was putting in her 30-day notice to leave our apartment. I asked my mom about it, and she said that Fred wants us to move in with him and his 2 kids. However, she was asking me and my younger sister if we were okay with it. I said I didn't care, and my little sister said she didn't want to. My mom didn't listen to my sister, so we ended up moving in with Fred. In the first week we moved in, Fred started to show his true colors, telling my mom what she was allowed and not allowed to do in his house. For example, no drinking in the house as he used to be an alcoholic. He didn't want my older sister visiting every day, etc., which caused a lot of arguments between them. Fast forward to today, Fred went out to run some errands and called my mom. He told her he was buying her a Princess Peach's costume for his friend's son's birthday party, which is Mario Brothers theme. My mom said there was no way she was gonna wear that, so to not even bother to buy it. He kept insisting and my mom kept saying no and hung up. He kept calling her and my mom kept ignoring it. He kept calling and my mom picked it up and he was furious. He told her how dare she hung up on him. My mom said it's my phone and I can do what I want, and he told her, well, I bought it, which caused a huge argument. My sister's partner and sister were there at the same time. My mom told them that she has had enough of his BS and she wanted to leave. So she went to Walmart, bought boxes to put out the clothes and belongings in, called my aunt, and we packed everything and left. We moved in with my sister to their 1-bedroom apartment. I was so mad at my mom for putting us in this situation. I was already tired of my sister's partner telling me that it's their house, so I had to follow their rules for the millionth time. So I told my mom she better find us a place to live ASAP. She told me I should be grateful we had a roof over our heads. And we wouldn't be in this situation if we had told her we didn't want to move in with Fred. I was furious at that point and corrected her by saying if only she knew how to keep her legs closed and thought with reason and not lust, we wouldn't be in this situation. So stop blaming me and my sister for it. She slapped me and called me an ungrateful witch. My sister and cousins keep telling me that I crossed the line for basically calling my mom a whore. But I was tired of her blaming me and my sister for her bad decisions. So am I the a-hole for telling my mom she should learn how to keep her legs closed? So I have relatives like this, always need to be with a man/woman. They can't handle being on their own, and their children suffer. Could you have said something different? Of course. Were you wrong? No, you were not. Your mom has some self-reflecting to do, and just because someone is in their 30s doesn't mean they are a responsible adult. Best of luck to you, young lady. I too had a former friend who always had to have a man. Only difference is luckily there were no kids involved. I don't get it, because she has a college education. When she worked in insurance, she got numerous awards for the amount of insurance she sold. I used to go to her family's for Christmas, and she made a snide remark one time, referring to how long it had been since she thought I had been with someone. I let pass because I didn't want to ruin the holiday, but I was so close to saying, at least I don't settle for any Tom's hairy prick. Funny, my wife and I were talking about this recently and we're like, if we were to end our relationship after 32 years of us being together, we would be single for a long time. Not the a-hole. Facts are facts. That is why she lashed out at you. Start thinking now about building assets and money, so it'll be easier. Not easy, just easier, when you become an adult and want to distance yourself. Yes, save every penny from birthday and holiday money and from when you get a job. You won't be able to move out when you feel that you need to. And if you don't move out, use the money for college or trade school. Give your youngest sister a good role model. Am I the a-hole for leaving the hospital after my fiancé told me to pay the bill? For context, me, female 26, and my fiancé, male 28, have been together for 3 years. Finances are split till after marriage, and we have equally paying jobs. He doesn't pay when we eat out. He doesn't pay for any fixes in our rental apartment. It also doesn't help with furniture and stuff. I tried to have conversation about how I'm always supposed to foot the bill for almost everything. His excuse is that he's been saving for a new apartment, been saving up for 2 years now. But he still has half of his salary, which he uses on himself and buys gadgets and gaming stuff. When I tried to argue about it, he'd say it's his money after all and remind me of how he's saving up to buy an apartment for us. Days ago, he called me and asked that I take him to the hospital to treat his ankle. It's been hurting him for weeks, but only now he decided to get it checked. I drove him there since he was in pain, but was surprised when he told me to pay the bill. I asked him why not him, and he brought up the new apartment he's been saving up for again. I had it, especially after he threatened to not add my name to the new apartment's title if I refused to help him out. I snapped and told him to pay for himself and stop using my money with the apartment excuse. Then I left. He had to pay but was furious, saying I'd let him down in his time of struggle. Also said that my attitude isn't partner material. I told him I felt like he was using the new apartment to spend my money, but he said I had no empathy or sense of responsibility to support and help him out when he is doing me a huge favor and buying me an entire freaking apartment. He's calling me selfish and negative. I don't know. I feel guilty for doing this and now he's avoiding me entirely. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. You are being used. 100% when he has enough money for the apartment, he dumps you. Stop footing the bill. Leave him. There is no savings account. That's what I thought. If he was expecting me to foot the bill on a bunch of stuff that should be shared, I'd want to see the balance of the account on a regular basis. Or at the very least have a signed contract of some sort saying she gets to be on the title, or gets a cash payout in the event he doesn't end up buying an apartment / doesn't put her on the title. Not the a-hole. He is just using you and your money and probably plans to dump you once he buys the apartment. Totally agree. Came to say this. He's using you for your money and not contributing to household expenses. I'd freaking run. Not the a-hole. I doubt he'll buy a place. He has someone paying all his bills. / cleaning up after him / fun adult activity / cooking. He isn't leaving unless she cuts him off and throws him out, and there will never be a marriage. Next story. Am I the a-hole for turning off my husband's alarm? Me 31 and my husband 35 both work from home. His start time is 8:30 and the work he does essentially timestamps what he does. He also has a micromanaging boss. On occasion, he may have to go into the office to perform on-site work. My start time is 8 a.m. and the work I do is very independent and at my own pace, and my boss could care less to track my every move as long as my deadlines are met. My husband sets his alarm at 7 a.m. every day, even though he admits he doesn't want to be up until 8:15 at the earliest. But he never wakes up to it. But the rest of us hear it, so my toddler and I usually wake up about 45 minutes earlier than we need to as a result. I've asked him to stop setting it so early, and he said he needs the whole hour of snoozing to wake up. So, he's been on a couch lately, but I still wake up to it from there and have to snooze it every 15 minutes. I'm currently 6 months pregnant, so this morning I was exhausted and didn't want our toddler waking up earlier than needed and wanted the extra sleep myself, so I turned it off. But it was too late. Our toddler already woke up to it, so I got up then got busy with our toddler. Our toddler went to daycare around 8:15. My parents pick up. At 8:27, I realized the time, so I went to wake my husband up and told him I must have accidentally hit off instead of snooze on your alarm when I was tired, but it's almost 8:30. You should get up. And I went about my business working. I took a break and came downstairs to find him asleep at 9:47 a.m. And I jolted him and said, "You're still asleep? It's almost 10. And he said, "No effing way," and ran to his laptop. He told me to stop turning his alarm off and basically don't touch it unless I hit snooze. Thing is, he goes to sleep almost every night around 2 a.m., so he's not gonna wake up to a 7 a.m. alarm 9 out of 10 times. Instead, I always wake up to it and have the task of hitting snooze every 15 minutes anyway. Yes, I technically lied to him about his alarm, but I am literally tired of this, and I did make sure to wake him up on time. Or so I thought. Am I the a-hole? Stop waking him up. Stop waking him up this minute. This is not your job. There are 50 different devices he could use to wake himself up. Or he could just grow the F up and do it himself. I repeat, this is not your job and it is not your responsibility. He needs to manage his own business without disturbing his family. He needs to be an adult and a father. Not the a-hole, but you will be if you enable this anymore. This makes sense in theory, but in practice, it leaves Opie and the child still get woken up by the alarm before he intends to wake up. Yeah, my husband was a chronic snooze pusher too, but he's also a decent man. So when I told him that as soon as the alarm goes off, I'm up no matter what and can't go back to sleep, he stopped freaking doing it. Opie's husband is a tool and should grow the heck up and go to bed earlier, like an adult with a wife and child. Not the a-hole, but if it's waking up the toddler, just have the toddler jump on top of him until he wakes up. He'll stop waking the toddler up early after that. I can tell you this will backfire greatly and just end up with an angry husband and a wife who has to deal with him yelling about not keeping the toddler out of the room. I try it occasionally. Oh no, if my husband yelled at me because his actions have consequences, he would not be my husband for very long. Not the a-hole. Snoozing your alarm for 45 minutes is ridiculously rude when there are other people who can hear it. You've obviously already spoken to him about it because he was on a couch. That clearly wasn't enough. If you and your toddler are both waking up to this alarm, it's an issue. Also, why are you the only one getting up in the morning with a toddler? Especially pregnant, you should be able to trade off with him, or you both get up. Am I the a-hole for not withdrawing my job application for the sake of my brother? I have an older brother who does not work by choice. Literally the most educated, smartest man I've ever known. He's just lazy. It's literally been years, and he's been neck-bearding in our parents' basement while I'm busting my ass at school. I took out loans, and when I graduate, I'm expected to pay them back. Hence why I need a job on top of having to pay for other living expenses. My brother has never paid a penny for his education. My parents in their own name took out loans for him. Lately, my dad's been getting on his butt about getting a job, but my brother's been brushing him off. I was given a tip to apply to this really lucrative graduate program. It's not in my field whatsoever, but it's paid training. Really well paid. And I put in an application. I told my mom about it and she asked for the link to the program. I sent it without giving it a second thought and I got an interview. Now, when I told my mom about it, she asked me to withdraw my application so that I can give my brother a chance to apply. I said, "What? He's had literal years to apply. This is my opportunity, even if it's not in my field. There's no guarantee that I'm going to get it anyway, but I want to at least try. I need a job and I don't ever want to be financially dependent on my family. I want a life of my own, and I feel like them asking me to withdraw my application from consideration is sabotaging my future for the sake of their golden child. I've always been put on the back burner for the sake of my brother, and they feel that is his opportunity to have since it's his field. But 1, I have no idea if he applied, and 2, I don't think he'd be allowed to apply because it's a new grad program, and he has not been a new grad in years. I don't plan to withdraw my application, but everyone in my family is telling me I'm being selfish. I've been banned from Thanksgiving, and I came home yesterday to find my mom converting my room into an office for my brother. My aunt has been bombarding me with texts telling me I'm not being considerate of family. My friends are mostly on my side, except one said she sees my parents' point of view. But I don't know. Family friends I see on public won't even look at me anymore. Over an interview. It's mad. Am I the a-hole for not giving my brother this opportunity? Not the a-hole. Their request is nonsensical, and your family appears to be smoking some wacky tobacco. Get the job and put your career trajectory on an onwards and upwards path and never look back. And when those mooches call wanting money and favors, go, "New phone, who's this?" Not the a-hole. Remind all the people in your family that are upset over this that you, unlike your brother, have school loans to pay. Jeez. Why is your family so lopsided in their support of their kids? Is your brother expected to care for your parents financially in their retirement? Unfortunately, that responsibility will fall to the girl in the family, aka me, the only girl in my Asian family. No, it won't, because you don't actually have to. When you are old, do you want to be begging and relying on your kids? No? Stop the cycle and mind your own finances, especially given the way they've been treating you. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my step-siblings I only help people I care about, which doesn't include them? My dad and his wife blended their family 7 years ago. Me, 16 male, and my brother, 13 male, come from our parents' marriage. Our mom died 9 years ago. Beth, 15 female, Luke, 14 male, and Laura, 12 female, come from dad's wife's first marriage. My dad and his wife also have Katie, 5 female, together. I have a pretty complicated history with learning disability. I was diagnosed before my mom died and always struggled with school, reading, and writing. I used tech to help me write stuff like this. I can speak fine, but actually reading or writing anything, including numbers, is terrifying to me. It's something that has meant I need a lot of extra help in school. My mom used to read stuff like menus out to me. My brother actually started doing it when he got better at reading too. It's something I can't hide, and it's embarrassing as hell. It's something my step-siblings have made fun of since forever. Beth made a really hurtful comment the first time she realized, and her mom corrected her. But since she and her siblings were not happy with her mom meeting my dad, and since I would do things differently, like I never did homework at home, they would tease me and taunt me behind their mom's back. I spoke up a few times, and it got corrected pretty hard. Eventually, it got to the point where I no longer saw the point of saying anything. Around that time, it got to the point where I would tell my friends to pretend my step-siblings weren't part of my family or my life, because I didn't want them to be. I got my license over the summer and got permission to drive my dad's car. I've been bringing my brother places sometimes, and suddenly my step-siblings have been trying to be nice to me. I ignore them. I say no to bringing them places. A few days ago, Beth wanted to go to this dance practice related to the dance classes she does. Her mom couldn't take her because she's sick. My dad wasn't around either. My dad's car was at home though, so she asked me to bring her. I said no. She followed me around begging and I kept saying no. Luke and Laura joined in and they said we're family, and family should do things for each other, and how I never help them out. I told them I only help people I care about, and it doesn't include them. Their mom overheard, and once my dad got home, they told me what I said was really unfair and cruel. They took away my ability to drive the car. Dad wanted me to apologize and say I didn't mean it. But I did, and I can see they all think I'm wrong for that. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Sit down with your dad and stepmom at a time when you guys can discuss alone and emotions aren't high, and explain your reasoning and how you feel. Your stepmom needs to understand the depth of hurt that your step-siblings have inflicted on you over the years. Because right now, they probably just view it as a typical step-sibling arguments. This has been discussed in depth before. My brother got in some trouble about 3 years ago for locking Beth and Luke in a room while Laura was at a friend's house and the adults were busy. When Dad found out, he was furious and explained why my brother had done it. We ended up in therapy with Dad and his wife, and the whole thing was dragged out there, including them saying we shouldn't stop caring about them because of the stuff that was happening and how they would deal with it and our step-siblings would grow. For me, I never started to care about them, and I told them that and why. But I think they dismiss it because we're all still kids, even knowing the stuff that has been said. They see it as they will grow up and will be close as adults, but I don't ever want to be family with them. And I don't know how many more times I can tell them all the stuff that has happened and why I feel like I do. I see it as pointless by now. If it's been a few years since you've discussed it in depth, it might be worth a shot again now that you're a bit older. Otherwise, your parents really suck for not hearing you out. Either way, I'm sorry you have to go through this. It's not fair to you no matter what. The parents are probably still holding on with both hands on the dream of perfect blended family. Yeah, they are. I know they think it can still happen. Last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my dad he is a bad father? My 14 female mom passed away about 8 months ago. She got very sick a few years ago, and eventually her body couldn't handle it anymore. Her and my dad had been divorced since I was 5. After the funeral, I moved in with my dad, 40 male, stepmom Jane, 39 female, and 2 stepsisters, Alex and Sophie, 12 female and 13 female. To be frank, we've never gotten along. Jane has tried to replace my mother numerous times, even refusing to let me go back to my mom's house one weekend because I wouldn't call her mom. She's always been like this, forcing me to hang out with my stepsisters, take family photos, call them family, do family game nights and so on. And ever since my mom died, she's gotten worse. Recently, she started to refer me as her daughter at family functions. None of my mom's side of the family likes her. Last night, Jane had friends over. I came home at around 7 because I had practice after school. My dad told me to come and say hello to everyone even though I didn't want to, but I did it to make him happy. When I walked into the living room, Jane jumped up and gave me a huge hug, which got awkward really fast. She turned around and said to her friends, "This is Opie, mine and Dad's name's first daughter." I stopped her and said, "No, you're my stepmom, not my mom." Everyone was silent, but my dad told me I needed to come with him. He took me to my room, which I shared with my stepsisters, and asked me what I was doing. I said that Jane wasn't my mother, so I wouldn't refer her as such. He started yelling at me about being ungrateful, spoiled, and a selfish brat for not accepting that this was my new family now. I started crying and yelled that he was a bad father, and that this was his new family. They never would be mine. I guess Jane heard our yelling because she ran into the room and told me that she was my mom, and the other woman didn't matter anymore because she's dead. I'm staying with my grandparents, mom's side, because Jane kicked me out, and I'm starting to feel guilty for not being more open. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Your mother may have passed, but she's still your mom. And it's wildly inappropriate not only of your stepmother to refer to you as her daughter without clearing that with you first, but even more so of your father to have such little regard and respect for your feelings that he would go off on you for correcting her. It might be for the best if you speak with your grandparents to see if they're willing to take over as your guardians for the time being, because it sounds like your father might not be mentally or emotionally mature enough to be doing so at this time. I agree. Plus, the stepmom is only connected to the OP via marriage. The minute the marriage ends via death or death, the stepmom is no one to her. Not the a-hole. Come on. You think you were too harsh for yelling at the woman who told you your mother doesn't matter anymore because she's dead? Really? OP is also 14 and probably still mourning, so maybe they don't deserve to be helped that way.